I wanna celebrate this life forever.
Come on.
I'm living it, not dreaming it. We getting it, black luxury. I wanna celebrate this life forever.
Yeah.
I'm living it, not dreaming it. We getting it, black luxury.
A paradigm shift is occurring across the country. Justice is expediting the process of what we're becoming. Universally unified in alignment with our greatness, which lay dormant for ages, but now it has been awakened. In this dispensation, we've been repositioned for a movement, excluding the lion being viewed as 3/5 of a human. My lineage says different. God listens, these prayers different. My people are royal. Tell Jordan this air's different. Speaking the air, make a fist, lift it up in the air with it. Uncomfortable with us being aware, that's their business. You can never deny the fact my people spend trillions as consumers. We tired of that, so now we focus on buying black. Black dollars circulate with us, and ain't no buying that. Building multi-generational wealth is where you find us at. Won't be satisfied until all of mine living comfortably. Think before you come for me, redefining black luxury. Yeah.
I wanna celebrate this life forever. I'm living it, not dreaming it. We getting it, black luxury. I wanna celebrate this life forever.
What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up?
How y'all doing? Welcome to another beautiful Wednesday. It's Revolution Ready. I'm Miss Tiff.
And I'm Sedan Smith.
You doing good, Sedan?
I'm doing great. Doing great. I've been getting as much hours as I want to get at work.
I love that.
I'm doing great.
I know that's right.
My taxes just hit. Well, shout out to that stimulus. I ain't getting none of that back.
So hope y'all doing good out there, Revolution Ready land. Love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure that y'all hit like, love, share this with all those that you know. We have a great show. Sorry that we had to start a little bit late today. It's better late than never, and we here. And just wanted to make sure that y'all show us some love today. We showing y'all some love.
Definitely. Shout out to everybody that's watching. We missed y'all.
Exactly.
Ooh, we got a lot to talk about.
We do.
We do. We have a lot to talk about. We need to make sure that those bills are getting passed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those 12 bills of police reform that David Bowen has.
Shout out to State Representative David Bowen. Enough is enough.
I'm telling you, enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Yeah, we love that act right there.
Exactly.
That is amazing. That's what we call, you know, putting your foot forward and making sure that the people's voice is heard.
That was a beautiful day, Roro. Like, I was so proud, not just of, you know, what State Rep was doing, but also what we were doing as a people and coming together and supporting him and supporting legislation that we actually deserve, we actually want, that speaks to our language and speaks to our community and what has been happening. So you guys make sure that you are saying contact your state representatives there in the Capitol in Madison, and let it be known that we don't want the bills that are currently being talked about on the floor that was sit as recommendations from the task force. We don't want those particular bills, but we want the enough is enough package because it's 12 bills that are hard hitting, that are concise,
real reform,
and speaks to exactly what it is that, you know, demands that have been put forth. So
speaking of police, Chief Morales is
he still chief?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Right now, he's kind of actively a chief.
Yeah,
but then again, Norman is the chief.
Yeah, he's interim chief, but he's also like we talk this. So, bro, we got two different things going on here. Yeah. We got like our Milwaukee interim police chief is up for as a finalist for a Wauwatosa police chief. He's one of three. So that process is moving forward. We'll see what happens with that. The finalists for that role are all Milwaukee officers. And then you talking about Morales, like, what's the news on that?
Well, with Morales, I guess he's supposed to be up for a conversation, I guess, with the people, having a mediation to see if he wants to come back.
Exactly, yeah.
Dun,
dun, dun.
But I mean, he said he was they didn't give him due process. and he
Yeah.
was he was forcibly removed without
Mhm.
due process.
Yeah, yeah. There's, I mean, it's a sticky situation. That all I's weren't dotted, all T's weren't crossed. As it relates to demoting him, as police chief. But he resigned, like he left,
He
so
retired.
he retired. So I don't know. I guess I've seen people try to come back, and then Jordan did it, but when he retired, he came back.
He wasn't the same Jordan.
But he wasn't the same Jordan. And I think the same thing. We don't want him to be the same Morales. Like, we don't want him in there at all. So
No, we don't need him in there.
we'll see. We'll see what happens with this process. And continue to keep y'all looped in as to what's going on. What else is going on?
Well, what was new is we got the Jay Anderson 5-year anniversary coming up.
Yep.
And that's the 26th.
Shout out to the Anderson family.
So we most definitely want to give our support to the Jay Anderson family.
Y'all recall a couple episodes back, we had Jay Anderson Sr. on the show. So he was coming in and providing, just all the details about the case, all the details of what happened to his son, Jay Anderson Jr. Continue to lift up his name, continue to lift up the family. Also, make sure that you support the family. Mama Anderson, Linda Anderson, has she sells bracelets, and I have 2 of mine on today. So she sells them, and they're sorry if you can't see, I got too many on. But she sells them, and they're in support of the legal fund that her family has, in support of the family trying to keep making sure that Jay Anderson case is staying alive and current, but then also obviously supporting all of what Powerhouse Kim Motley, shout out to Kim Motley, is doing on the legal side to get this case moving forward. So in a couple of weeks, y'all, we'll have a decision from the judge regarding the John Doe hearing, and the judge will then declare whether or not he's going to appoint a special investigator to the case to be able to review it and charges be brought up upon Mensa. So just keep that family lifted up, y'all. But we definitely want to be there and support the Anderson family on the 26th.
Yep. Jay Anderson's 5-year 5-year anniversary of his death is June 23rd. June 25th is when the judge's decision comes out, and June 26th is the celebration of his life at Madison Park, noon till 9. Bring the kids.
Most definitely. I'm gonna say it, and then we can make sure that we can confirm the date. But also keep the Cole family in your prayers as well. They lost Mama Cole. She was on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, and Talivia was our first guest on this season 3. Lift up that family as their uncle passed today. And so just keep them continuously in your prayers, in your thoughts, and just send out some well wishes to them always as it relates to Alvin Cole. But in this moment in time, as they deal with yet again another tragedy for their family. So, it's a lot of people that's going through, and you never know, because people always don't look like it. They don't look like what they're going through, or they don't look like what they've been through. But it's always good just to send up positive energy to folks, and make sure that you are encompassing, embracing, and being that positive energy. So we wanted to shout out that and put that out in the atmosphere. So make sure that you all are liking this, sharing this, and send a word of encouragement to the Andersons and to the Cole family. Make sure y'all also just keep, he ain't gonna say it, but keep my bro Sedan always lifted. He's dealt with and been with where these families are going through. So I always just want to make sure that he has that same encouragement too. These young brothers out here, they need that.
Thank you.
So welcome always.
So much. And of course, we have the refund, the community MKE event Sunday, June 13th at Custer Stadium. The sport is football. They'll be doing skills and drills. It'll be free food. It'll be live music, and it'll be a wonderful time to bring the kids out.
Most definitely.
And of course, we just rallied to Racine.
You sure did.
We did.
You sure did.
The county jails they had lack of responses for two minority males that were that died in police custody.
And I think they had something today, another rally today, and they're having another one Friday to put pressure to find out what happened to these two men of color.
Malcolm James, I believe, is one of the names. I haven't got the update on the other names, but Malcolm James is one of the names that have been released, and that family led a vigil for him on the 5th. So let's keep Malcolm James and his family in our prayers, and let's keep the fight for justice going just as well as we would do in our own cities. We went,
That's right.
we went to Racine. We had to go see what was up. And even though there were little details, it was just so much camaraderie going on with the people and galvanizing with the people, and just creating that love-based environment to show that the family wasn't as heartbroken as they were by the time we got there. Just being able to wrap our arms around them and being able to let them know, like, not only are we going to be here to help you fight for justice, but there's people that have been through this,
Correct,
that are here to help you.
Correct.
So
I think the important thing is the two words of the day: transparency and accountability. So we need to ensure that we're applying that pressure on all fronts to ensure that transparency happens and accountability happen. That families, the community deserve answers to these questions. They shouldn't have to worry about loved ones, friends who are in police custody and 1 minute and then they are deceased the next minute.
Wow.
And they are delayed in providing response as to what happened. That's the least you can do, is provide response as to what happened in a timely fashion, a timely manner, but make sure that it's the truth as to what happened, not the story that you want to put out in the airwaves. So, we're going to continue to encourage and support all of what's going on in our surrounding area of Milwaukee. Milwaukee has our fair share of things, but we also can be able to assist when other communities are facing some of the same things that we have as well. Anything else we need to?
I think that's it.
I think that's it. I think we're ready for
Our guest. Yes, without further ado,
you want to go ahead and introduce her?
I would be delighted to introduce her. Some call her Ameena, doctor, that is, and others call her Mama.
Mama.
How you doing?
Why
How
not
you doing?
sister? Damn,
Yes,
mama.
sis, I say Mama because reading your background, I know that your grandmother had a pillar to the community. She was a pillar to the community, and a lot of people
Oh my
looked up to her
goodness.
as Mama.
You just want to let people know that we come in whooping ass. That's what you're talking about, mama.
I like
That's what it is.
Yeah, they say it takes a village, but then sometimes you just got Mama.
And
welcome, welcome.
hey, you guys, good to see you.
Good to see you.
And thank you and hello and gratitude and peace and blessings and assalamu alaikum and may God be with you to those that are listening and families that are going through the same things that I'm going through, a bit of uncertainty, a bit of, I don't want to say a bit, but I'm going to say a bit because I want you brothers and sisters to understand a bit of anger, not rage, just it is, but it's directed in a way that, just like the brother said, we must galvanize together and we must come together. So I'm just so grateful to be here. And yeah, in times like this, it's time for us to start having real conversations and not just with me by myself and with you two, with like-minded or unlike-minded people. But this is 2021. This is not 16. This is not 2020. It's not 1999.
Yeah.
This is the time of our youth, and it's about our youth. So thank you guys for having me on. And I do apologize for being late. I'm still on the front line working to mediate conflicts and building programs for young people, and just try to find resources and, to get them to stop buying into the demonic systematic behavior of lack of education to mass incarceration. So just glad to be here, you guys. Hey,
Glad to have you.
Hey.
peace.
Peace, and love.
So word on the
Yes,
street,
sir.
little birdie said that you running for office. So talk to us about
So let's jump right on in. You know, I honestly, this is like really almost the first interview that I have spoke about running for 23. I ran in 2019 against the dinosaur, Bobby Rush, that he pledged his unloyalty to the Panthers. And now he's a pussycat of the first district. And, right now it's time for him to leave. I said I really wasn't going to do too much about, with him, but it's as a brother to brother that's supposed to be friends to our family. But yes, I'm running for Congress, and I'm running on issues of equality, equity, women's rights, education, lack of mass incarceration, resources in our jails, holding our brothers that across the aisle and our sisters across the aisle, then what seat that what party I sit in, to make sure that they keep their word to the people that they work for. So I'm asking the first district, humbly, can I please get in order for our people to get out? I would love to work for the first district. So we'll see. I'll give you a definite by by Father's Day. I'll give you a definite, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not a politician, but I've lived in the first district all my life. I've been in Chicago all my life, and I've seen what Mayor Daley, that, allowed J. Edgar Hoover of the CIA, that allowed John Burgess to torture our Black men and bring cocaine into our systems. And now we have a pandemic that's going on that isn't going on, but I know it's something that's killing us, and our children are not being educated as they should. Our children, Black children, I'm speaking of African American children, need to be treated and educated in that way. So yes, that's why I would be running for first congressional.
Well, shout out to that. I mean, we can give a hand clap for that, can we? Stay?
Most definitely can.
I love to see women. I love to see women, especially Black women of color, doing our thing, and making sure that we're taking a stand and we're not being intimidated about running for office, but especially representing us in Congress, where it's definitely needed. It's needed on all fronts, but ensuring the fact that we have representation in these walls of places where they're creating legislation that has a direct impact on us. And oftentimes we don't see it. Oftentimes we don't know it, but it's good to have the voice of the people at the table.
Most definitely. And I mean, you've been advocating for quite some time, not to be a politician or anything,
Right.
But the community has always, been in your heart. You've always been there for the community.
Yes, sir.
Speaking on that, I believe you started Ceasefire, was this 2011?
It was 2007.
Okay. I might be off a little bit.
Yeah.
I really,
but I'll take 11. It sounds a little more, timely of what's going on. Yes.
Okay, and I guess you were labeled as a what is that? An interrupter.
A violence interrupter, yes, sir.
Violence interrupter. Can you speak on that for us? Just give us a little detail on what that looks like.
First of all, I didn't ask for the position. It was like thrown to me. As a mother, I felt as if it was something that I needed to do. And I want to talk about the first interruption that I ever did. I lived in Minnesota, and I was the first drive-by shooting in Minnesota. And my thing was, it was not my fault. It was someone else's fault. Did I know them? Absolutely. Should that had happened? No, it shouldn't. And my father called me and asked me in the hospital, how do I feel and what should I do? And we should just leave the man alone, but establish house rules. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what happened. And I moved back to Chicago and was offered a job with Ceasefire under the directive of Teal Harderman. And they asked me to do a documentary. And of course, me coming from where I come from, not getting on any cameras. The news tell half-ass the story that's really going on. And are these people really going to depict our community for what it is? And I kind of did some research on the people that did the documentary, that did Hoop Dreams, and Alex Cocklerich wrote a book of and Cabrini Green's "There Are No Children Left Here," and so I kind of said, let me ask the community, do you want to tell your story? And that's how that came about. And did I know some of those people? Absolutely not. But what comes from the heart stays in the heart. And when truth stands up, falsehood falls down.
That's right.
And so I ended my relationship with Cure Violence. They fired me. I had an FMLA form. I was fighting leukemia. And my fight wasn't them. I could have went to the union and fought and all that. They gave me 30 days to live. And I believe that was a test between me and my creator. And I had to push everything aside and get Ameena right. And now here I am, 7 years into remission of leukemia, stem cell transplant, have dad's bone marrow still, iced up. And, I just believe that what's for me is for me. And wrath is wrath. I don't have to do all of that with Ceasefire and the trauma. It's enough trauma that I wake up to every morning. So we leave that alone and we move forward toward change.
Yeah.
So what did that look for me as change? I was sick. I was heartbroken. I lost some of my memory. I didn't understand what was going on, but I wanted to get back to what I didn't know, because I was still sick, what my purpose was. And I was driving and with the kids in the car at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, taking them to school, getting ready, going to the Ceasefire office. And the police was stopping, waking me up, taking me back home. And, and I'm grateful for those relationships. They could have arrested me, took my kids to DCFS, but they didn't. And they knew where I was at that time, and where I am today. Even from 2 years ago, has been a blessing from the creator. And it's only because I've learned patience, and learned patience.
Ooh, that's difficult, but yeah.
It's difficult. I don't know why my attributes is Ameena, trustworthy and patient, but I got the trustworthy. We'll put our backs together and we'll thump up out of that wave. You know what I'm saying? But patience, I'll be like, look, we're going to go now, or wait a minute, let's wait. No, we're going to go for them right now. We're going to change policies right now. We're going to go for that Constitution right now. So
Yeah,
that's where I am today. So
I love that.
I hope I answered your question about
You
ceasefire.
most definitely did. It was so powerful.
Yeah. So y'all
Yeah.
make sure that y'all like, love, share this. So Dr. Matthews, so tell us, I think that's very powerful story as to how this all came about. But even bring us to, what's your perspective? Because I know you got one, a perspective on, the police violence overall, but mainly what we've just seen over the course of, you know, 5 years, but even the course of this year. Talk to the people about your perspective on that.
So let me close out real quick. If you guys want to watch The Interrupters, it's on Prime Television. You can watch it, the whole front, and you can get in contact with me and whatever. But anyway, my perspective, sis, people, family, about the police brutality. Police brutality and racism has been there ever since the 1600s, ever since the 1400s, of them bringing our family members over through the passage of no return. And
Mm-hmm.
the strong ones died on Cameroon Island because they were beat, because they would not submit to a Lord that wasn't theirs and food that they don't know of.
Yeah.
So my perspective is that what's going on right now, sis, at times like this, our youth need to understand, because our youth, you too, sis, me too, you too, bro,
Mm-hmm.
we had to pass this fucking test called the Constitution that we did not understand. It didn't make sense,
Mm-hmm.
but we still had to pass it to go to high school. And some didn't. And some said, forget it, I'm not going. So what I feel is that not the police is afraid. I don't believe that the police are afraid.
Yeah.
I believe that this is a system, this is a demonic, systematic system that has been put on. And that's why they are allowing us to think the lie that June 19th is June 19th, where all the slaves were free. No, it was 2 to 3 years
Right.
before then.
Yeah.
So what they had to do was make that lie so they can stop and spearhead how to use the Constitution if we are homeless, if we're indigent, mental, that we can go to the penitentiary and be sold for labor, but we get paid 50 cents a month.
Yeah.
So what I think about the perspective of the policing today is there's some good police officers. Absolutely, but I have not yet to seen them in my time. I remember in mine, it was four, two of them in the day, two at night, and we knew that if Joe was about to flip out, he would tell him, "Take your ass down to Miss Brown before she beat your ass," and then and that's how we are lynching us. This
Mm-hmm.
is a form of the Constitution. This is because 45 ignited. This conversations has been had with police officers and their family about racism across the table. But we, once again, me coming from the South, we've always played nicely and please and thank you. Those days are up.
Yeah.
If you want to live in the United States, there is going to be some equality. It's not going to be any big eyes and big U's.
Yeah.
It's not just going to be. It's not. And you're not going to lynch our young men with bullets, and you're not going to beat our women and rape our children.
Yeah.
That's the masochistic bullshit that has been going on throughout history.
Mm-hmm.
So what I think about the police is that I feel that when people say defund, right?
Yeah.
I don't think defund. I think that we should still get back to community policing as well as community policing, right? As we're doing now. What I feel is there, just like with this guy, Jason Van Dyke, just like with Chavez, if you all look at his record and see how misconduct and use of forces that he's had, I feel that there should be a revamp of the FOP to be that if you have X amount of occurrences, deadly forces, use of forces, that you are fired. So that means that's what, 75,000 cut, bam, and a pension.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah.
Then you think about what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because if that was us, as we see, as an African American police officer shoots on self-defense, he's being fired from his job.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They know that there's some type of repercussion. I always put it to the effect, and it might not be a good analogy, but it's an analogy that I've been talking about for quite some time. You know, I was raised by two seasoned Black people, and I always knew that there was going to be a repercussion for my actions. They only asked me two things: to get good grades and to be respectful. And
Absolutely.
the times that I didn't do those things, I knew that there was going to be something, a consequence that was coming behind that. So, of course, as a kid, as a teenager, as a child, you push the limit on that, but they push it right back by giving a consequence. So I knew not to do that again. Same, the analogy or the connection that I'm making is when there is not a known consequence and it's not being enforced, then you're going to continue to enact the same behavior. You're going to do the same thing until you see some type of, you know, you in
Monetary
trouble.
change.
A check. You're going to get checked. You know, as of right now, it's just been slap on the hand, slap on the wrist, like nothing major to say that we drawing a line in the sand for your actions. And especially, you know, you talked about with Chauvin, you know, Chauvin had numerous write-ups, numerous things in his background. And I'm pretty sure a lot of other officers we just don't know. Also have same misconduct, disciplinary issues that never comes to the forefront, but should have come to the forefront, and it would have prevented actions that we've seen.
Like if qualified immunity was actually something that we ended and that was banned, we would see exactly what it is that we're talking about, that we want to see in our communities, that we want to see as far as police accountability goes. We have to ban it. You know, we have to renegotiate those contracts with the unions and make sure that they understand no person is perfect, but it's a job and a duty that you have to uphold. Correct. And it's a certain amount of integrity that goes in this job. And when it's not displayed, there's no humanity there.
That's right.
So, you know, we have to, you know, eradicate these type of problems. We have to make sure that, you know, we're not waking up scared. You know, when they get behind us, that we're not scared. You know, they should be the ones that are scared. It should be something that goes to say that, what if I do this? Not that I don't want to, but maybe I'm scared to lose my job. You know, maybe I'm scared to lose my house. Maybe I'm scared to, you know, not be able to buy all the nice things that I buy on a police salary. So, you know, as far as the pensions goes as well, these things should most definitely be taken away from them. They don't deserve it when they display in our neighborhoods that we don't matter. None of us as Black people in the community matter. Our lives are disposable.
And you know, and what's so really so aggravating for me, and I want it to be aggravating for you and your listeners, you guys, what is so aggravating is that not just only the police gets federal billions for a state, well, really for a district, right? And your mayor, your state's attorney, you know, supposed to really be working for the people, right? It's $1 trillion industry for mass incarceration. I get that. I understand that. I get it. But what I don't get is at the same time, these same officers that I believe that they train Chavez, the way however you pronounce him, the nigga that killed Mr. Floyd. I believe that he was trained just like Jason Van Dyke that killed Laquan McDonald here in Chicago. He just drove up, got out of his car, and let loose 16 times, and that was it. It wasn't what happened, what's
Yeah.
wrong. Nothing. I believe that they're trained. Those good old boys are still trained, and it should be consequences. But what bothers and troubles me so, that is such a heartbreaking, that I am really reaching for my young brothers and my young sisters, is that because of the lack of support, because the lack of caring, because Rush didn't do, that's my incumbent, or Mr. Danny Davis didn't do anything. And some of you, the congressmen and women up there with you, they didn't do anything. They allowed those choppers to be let off on those railroad tracks for our young guys and girls to get them. And now here it is. Now they want to give them 550 years for something that they're only to protect themselves. And I'm not making any excuses, but like you said, brother, how am I going to address myself when I'm sitting and I'm the only Black woman on this dark road,
Right.
and here's this police officer? I don't know what I'm going to be getting.
Exactly.
Should I tase him? Should I shock him? What should I do? Because I know that he's not for us, you know, and that's bad. That sets up a bad precedent for the United States of America. That divides democracy.
Exactly. So we had a question. You want to let me take it? So we have a question from Sarah Smith. Thanks so much, Sarah, for the question. Are there state reps or politicians in Illinois actively bringing and fighting for bills to be passed about police reform, etc., meaning similar to what our own Wisconsin state rep David Bowen has been proposing? So we shared earlier that last week, State Representative David Bowen released 12 bills in his Enough is Enough criminal justice package. And they're, like I said, hard hitting. I can drop the link in our chat. You can see it too, Dr. Matthews, related to really reforming the system. So is there anything in the works, or is it something already been released in Illinois to address some of these things?
A pacifier. You know, a pacifier without the candy at the end of the pacifier. So just a piece of plastic, you know, consent decree. They just went up in a sister's house. And this is maybe about the 100th wrong raid. This lady was just getting off of her job from working on the front line. She's a counselor, and she was in her home doing what she do. And they came in, and she was, you know, exposed on police camera, no apology. The mayor kind of dismissed it. You know, none of our leaders in our community have not offered any apology publicly. So, you know, it's just really, it's going to take a miracle, but it's going to take progressive people like us, that is going to put people like myself in positions to work for you guys. What goes on in Illinois, and what, if you look up anyone that has been a dinosaur in Illinois or Milwaukee, you can see how many times that they've made meetings and what they've voted on. And I'm willing, I know for sure, the vote against women, all of the African American and the white politicians from Illinois to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, vote no. What does that say?
They don't give a damn about us.
Pretty much.
They don't give a damn about our women.
Nothing.
You know, they want to keep us down as a whole, Black men and Black women.
Absolutely.
What are some of the ways you think police reform would actually, you know, show? Like what is something you could introduce as far as police reform goes, like in a direct act of consequences as well?
Yeah, I was part of a teach-in with Will Calloway and Dr. LaShawn, and we brought up all of, in Chicago, it's a police station over on the west side, and we call it's the worst police station, but we call it the the holding jail for the bad officers, but they still get paid, for so my thing is just like what I said. If our police contract it's been expired since maybe 2015, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everything that has been going on, and the way that they can protect, and how they can protect and serve with the finance that they have. But my main thing is, the pen is more deadly than the sword. If you have more misconducts, use of force, causing the city millions and millions of dollars in lawsuits,
Mm-hmm.
they need to be let go.
Yeah, that's right. The liabilities. Okay, we
That's the school,
talked about that.
Yeah, but the
for,
direct
and put
action.
that money
Yep,
into the school system.
that's right. That's right. And I think that's sort of what we were discussing. There is some bills that are being debated in our state capital, and we were testifying and saying and sharing feedback that when we talk about refunding or reallocating dollars, there was a bill specifically about school resource officers, and we're saying that we don't even need to have those officers. Like city of Milwaukee public schools already rendered that, like, they don't want resource officers in schools anymore. And so therefore you can use those dollars to create positions of crisis intervention staff, more counselors, more individuals who have expertise in being able to help students even transition back from pandemic life, to now being in school again, but more importantly, helping them receive the best education, not creating a more enhanced police community. They already have a police community. They don't need a more police school environment. So
They try to introduce the in-house
yes, like
police.
in-house.
Yeah.
It's like it's ridiculous. Even legislation around cop houses. I don't know if that's something that you're familiar with. Like in Illinois, they have them here in Wisconsin, where they have it's funding that have been centered and catered around having a specified house for officers to be able to basically work out of, and they're in the communities, and so there's pushback on that, of the creation of more of them, because there's really not a need for them. That's money again that could be used to put back into community in the way that we want to see it best utilized.
I think mental health is one thing that the money could be allocated to.
Housing. This is
We don't have an emergency response for mental health, and
not
we
at
need
all.
that.
Yeah.
And the thing about the mental health piece is that it's very sad, because it's trillions of dollars that is to be allocated for mental health. But what they did here in Chicago is, a lot of the projects, the community housing, have been torn down. So there's been homes that were left for like seniors or assistant living type of high rises.
Mm-hmm.
So what they do is they put young men and women that are sick, that need to be in hospitals, that may have an arson in their background, or some type of deadly force in their background, and they put them in those housings. And sometimes that's where we see big fires, or someone stabbed multiple times, and different things like that. They put them in places that are not levelized, and the state's attorney will not make a decision that, what, yes, let's do a psych eval on this person, and let's get them into the same treatment facilities as if it was Lori Lightfoot's daughter,
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah.
if it was Governor Pritzker's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that it is equal. I remember, I'm going to tell you guys this story. I was living in Florida and my daughter was born early, and I was working at Salvation Army.
Mm-hmm.
And it was around the time that Jeb Bush was the governor there. And he was going to cut He was going to cut Salvation Army. He was going to cut treatment centers. He was going to cut all of the funding. He was going to cut the at the time it was food stamps. And what his daughter did, Noelle, she came through Walgreens with a Oxycontin script that was forged.
Wow.
They stopped her. She went to jail. And I tell you, 3 days later, I got my job back, and about 1,000, maybe about 4,000 other people did too. So it's sad to say that when there's a concern that's going on in our community, people are so desensitized between this because they feel like this shit that does not belong to them. And
Yeah.
they don't live that type of life. But
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you one thing for sure and one thing for certain. What this train is bringing, if we don't change, it is going to affect all of us. I don't understand why the Europeans are talking about, we're calling us niggas and all of this, because on the boat coming through the tunnel of no return, the water, the blood was already watered down.
Yeah.
Coming through Mississippi, the blood was already watered down. So there's no need for them to continue to keep us down. They must move out the way. And I'm asking you guys, and wherever you all are, whatever state, whatever small city, if there is an election that is progressively for the people, this is the time to jump in and give it all you got. Because you guys, they tell you that bullshit about the green bill, and you see how this climate change is going the way that it is. It's not going to take 21 years to change a green bill. It's not going to do it.
Yeah.
You see, they changed the hate crime for Asian Americans in 4 hours, but George Floyd is still waiting. So they pick and choose. So what that means is that we're going to have to put our boots on, even when we're tired, even when we're supposed to be at work, even when we're going to have to bring the kids out, and we're going to have to let them know enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Most definitely.
I think speaking of that, there is a lot of still, you brought up the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act bill. I mean, it's still on the table as far as a time frame of when it's going to be passed. And I always believe about quality versus quantity. And that we need to make sure that, if we're going to use his likeness, his name on the bill, to ensure that the bill represents what happened to him, countless others, and there's never going to be any silver lining for anything. Because it has to be a mindset. It's a culture within policing that has to change. And that's going to continue. That's continued work. But I think there has to be a push to our legislators in telling them that this bill has to meet us where we are, and it has to meet us where we're going, and so we can hopefully prevent more George Floyds, more Breonna Taylors, and individuals in other communities elsewhere. But how do we actually work to apply that pressure? Like, how do we join forces?
How do we apply that pressure, sis? I'm not a politician. I'm telling you,
Not yet.
I'm not a politician. I'm just sick and tired of seeing 34 years of the same Black man that was my grandmother's friend came in her restaurant and ate free every day. And he said he was a Panther and he was my dad's friend, and he turned a pussycat, and he still went down there and ricoed at him and his so-called friend. The only way that we can get out is to get in. Sis, that's the only way. That's the only way. We're going to have to pull like they pulled a coup January the 6th. They pulled a coup. They went into the Capitol.
Yeah.
So what do they think about us? It's no please and thank you. We're going to have to meet them at the level, the same things that they have. And I hate to speak this way. And it's sad to say, but damn, the same thing that those KKK police officers have, those young guys have the same thing. And they're not going to play with their family being killed the way that they're being killed any longer. So therefore, they need to put progressive people in office where we can talk them down and we go get that constitution, because we can make legislation all over. I can make House Bill 5792 and I can put a little bit of the constitution, but until we go into that constitution and start making amendments to things, those things will never change. That's why you guys need to put people like myself. If there's someone that is in your town that is progressively speaking about the systematic bullshit that's going on now, it's unacceptable. It is unacceptable in 2021. I remember growing up in Aberdeen, Mississippi, and Germantown, Tennessee. I was all down and I seen racism in its best. Here in Chicago and in Milwaukee, more segregated than ever, because you know what they did? They got insurance on their grandma. They got that money from their insurance and they went and bought plantations all the way up toward Maryland, all the way up. They made their way up this way. That's what happened. So that's why we have that KKK mentality in the North. It didn't come just only in the South. It migrated. Just like we migrated, we came, our family came, my grandfather was a sharecropper. He came from Aberdeen, Mississippi to Chicago, to the land of the free and opportunity where there's steel mills and the American dream. And soon as they got there, J. Edgar Hoover and Old Man Daly shut the steel mills down. Come on, what is a family that has 10, 12 children coming from Mississippi do? Then the preachers come in and they put them and try to put them to work and do little things like that. And when money comes down into state and federal funding government, our young guys don't get that money. That's why they lost so much faith in faith-based leaders and politicians. One young guy said to me, I don't know the difference between a preacher, a pimp, or a politician.
Wow.
And it was so profound.
Yeah, that is.
Mm.
And that shouldn't be the case.
No, it should be very easy to tell the difference.
It's a clear distinction between all. But
I mean,
they
share certain similarities to where, it's not creating growth for us.
Yeah.
I mean, a bad person is a bad person.
Right.
But you know what? I don't blame the pastors. I believe the Bible, the Quran, and the Torah, the same sun that shines on me, shines on you all, on whatever denomination that you may be. But what I believe that happened coming along the way up here, as our ancestors did, that old time damn tithe and religion that they gave our people to believe that it was, it's right there in the Bible. Everything that you need to know is in the Bible. All that extra additive, even in the Quran, the extra additive has caused the war and the world war and the division and the dissension in our country. You want to talk about my daddy?
Let's go ahead.
I love my dad. I think he's the coolest dude in the world. I think he's the coolest dude in the world.
You want to let the people know who your dad is?
So my mom was 15, 16 having me. Her name is Fazana. My dad was 16, 17 having me. I'm the second oldest daughter of Mr. Jeff Ford. And he's been a political prisoner for well over 3 decades.
Mm-hmm.
And
Take your time.
this system, you guys,
Yeah.
I'm not a politician. Swear to
Yeah.
God, I'm not. This system. See, what our young guys feel like they can do, they feel like they can do it better than Jeff Ford. They can do it better than Al Capone, or they can do it better than Gotti. No, there has always been people in place, like my incumbent, that has been infiltrators, that was friends with Mark Carter, Judas, and the Messiah. You guys have to understand that there has been a system put in place that will keep us in place. We bought the Black Eyed Peas over here.
Mm.
We bought the we built the United States. My dad is a political prisoner. His time is up.
Mm-hmm.
The person that was his rappy, if you guys may not understand, and I can go a little deeper if people ask questions about, but the last case, my dad was in jail. If I get a phone call from, so I'm in jail and I get a phone call and their family's talking about something, I'm gonna I would not know what's going on because I've been gone 30 years.
Right.
So it was a launcher that was it was not given to my dad. My dad was in jail. That launcher was supposed to be for another faith-based leader here in the city of Chicago. When they convicted Gaddafi, gave Gaddafi his time. Gaddafi's been out of jail for what, about 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
He came to Chicago. One of the faith-based leaders sashayed him up and down 75th Street, took him to the United Nations, brought him back to Chicago. This is my dad's rapping.
Mm-hmm.
He went back to Saudi Arabia. And young man Bush was already pissed off because Gaddafi already be his daddy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Bush shot Gaddafi in the head on CNN. Why is my dad still in jail? Everybody that has ever been on dad's cases, whatever cases they may be, the jury finds the judge guilty of taking kickbacks. They're intimidated by my father. Listen, my father doesn't know what's going on. He knows that he has great, 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 great grandchildren.
Mm.
But trust and believe he is not happy with the way that our people together, when he was coming up, he would talk to me. When we would visit and then we'll see each other, we'll spend some time together. And, me, I asked my dad questions. Him and Fred, he loved them dearly. He loved them dearly and he knew exactly. And can I clear this up real quick?
Sure.
There's a piece on gangland, and I don't condone violence at any cost whatsoever. I don't condone violence at all. But on this piece in gangland, they have just a snippet of that, but the whole piece was saying, I'm glad to see a lot of people. I'm glad to see the people here at this press conference.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see the community people, and I'm glad to see especially the police
Mm-hmm.
that has been shooting our family members from the top of buildings and going on the west side shooting their family members.
Yeah.
There's not going to be any killing without being killed.
Yeah.
So now what they did was they take that snippet and they make it seem like, brother, that's between me and you. Her dad was talking about you and her. Or sis, her dad was talking about you and her.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what he was talking about. He was talking about the government was going to do exactly what they're doing right now. And we have to trust in Allah, but tie our own camels. Perfect man, he was not.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't live his life. I'm not in his head. I can't tell you what he was thinking, but I know that he was thinking on the lines of the pastors here to bring opportunity, please not, so people can read and write and learn how to be secretaries and janitors and different things like that. And he would not tell on those people.
Mm-hmm.
And he got 5 years contempt, and then Nixon invited him to the inauguration.
Hmm.
Mm, mm, mm.
Wow, that's heavy.
So much for that. We can go somewhere else if you want to.
No,
Well,
that's good context. Good for sharing that.
was definitely powerful. Your background, everything that you said, the energy that you brought to the show today, it is most definitely needed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, After hearing all that, it breaks my heart. I watched Judith and the Messiah. I'm a very, very firm believer in closing the prison to pipelines systems from our schools to the prisons. I'm a very firm believer in shutting down MSDF, a prison that we really don't need here in our city. I advocate for it all the time. We actually did a march for the victims of coronavirus that were in jail, in the way that they don't have an evacuation plan for them,
Mm-hmm.
and that they have an evacuation plan set up for the dogs that they deem to be officers in the prisons. So I most definitely feel your pain. I just want, before we close out, can you give us any information to where our people can follow you, how they can support you, how we can make sure that your campaign is taken care of in the best way possible.
Thank you, brother. I really appreciate that. There's a 34-year condemned that Bloomberg gave him $6 million to be his campaign manager. And, Bobby can't even talk. He's 80 years old. And, there's people that is donating to another person that is running that is part of the same machine. Mm-hmm. So what I strongly suggest that you guys understand, if you're happy and satisfied with getting what you've been getting for the last 20 years, then that's what you're going to be getting for the next 20 years if you don't make a change of mind, a change of heart. Damn what the old people, they lived the life, not damn what they think, but they thought what they thought was true. Mm-hmm. My campaign page, I haven't announced yet. It's just you all have to top everything, Ameena for Congress.
Uh-huh.
On that page, I'm gonna have my Act Blue for my committee, and then once we decide to run, then I'll have that everything open for the campaign. So, willing to come to Milwaukee and meet some progressive candidates, mm-hmm. or progressive congressmen and women that's doing the job. Mm-hmm. We'll travel. My Instagram, my IG, let me say it like I can't embarrass you guys because my daughter was saying you have to say it like this. Okay. My FB is Ameena for Matthews. Is it that? No, no, I'm sorry. I jacked it all up. My FB is Ameena for Matthews, and my IG handle is at the real Ameena Matthews.
I'm putting it in our chat now.
And if you want so you guys, I'm on Facebook. I'm here in the city. whatever you guys need. I am so in love with Becky, and the things that she wants to continue to, what things that you guys really want to continue to talk about. Just call me and let me know. I fear none but my Lord. From the Lord we come, from the Lord we return. So therefore, I'm willing to really, really fight for what we believe in. And what's been going on is entirely criminal. They have, it criminal, and 45 has bought that out. And now we're going to have to let them know, because it never fails. Back in the day, you guys were so young, but in order for people to get out the plantation, in order for the slaves to get off the plantation, they burnt that bitch down. And that's
I think you gotta drop something for that. Can we drop your campaign site website in the comment section?
you
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
and I'm happy. Chicago Friday, I'm having a mom's pack. And my mom's pack, Bill, is all about the violence, all about the carjacking, all about the lack of education. A mother has to wake up every morning to either the police is shooting their child that's 13 years old, or someone that they didn't see shoot their child that's 2 years old. And I think enough is enough. This has been a bloody summer already. Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Most definitely.
So we won't make it another bloody month or another bloody nation. We have to get on the front. You guys, I need your support. I really do. I'm so glad to have spent some time with you guys. I hope you don't just, say, that's a crazy lady there.
Nah.
And we won't call you back, because I will come knocking at your door.
You would be welcome in. No, we definitely thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule and on this beautiful day.
No, thank you guys so much. I had grateful for you all's patience, the ones that are listening, the ones that will be listening. You guys, I have a message to say to the woman. Is that okay with you, sis?
Yes, definitely.
Woman, look. We are beautiful in all shades that we may be. And we are beautiful no matter what they have told us that we will be. We are beautiful no matter how much he says that we not and she is. We are queen. We are sisters. We belong together, and we are the ones that have always built this nation.
Hey.
Let's go, sis. The nation comes out of our womb.
I know that's right. Ain't nothing else you could say beyond that.
No, that's right. I'm just dropping.
Because ain't nothing to come beyond that.
Right? Guys,
I love it.
I'm dropping the bombs behind the women. You see that, brothers? Y'all better protect our black women.
That's right.
You know what I mean? For real, protect them, and don't just say it. I'm dropping bombs. It's like Pearl Harbor. Y'all, what? We ain't missing Pierre. What? I got your back, Pierre. You in the studio today. I'm dropping bombs for you.
Wait, Pierre, we do miss you.
We do miss you, but not like that. You know what I mean?
But we're going to drop some more bombs. It's some more bombs that need we need to be exact. It's going to be some more. Look, and get your scope ready, too. You got to get your scope ready with your lights dim. You got to get that scope ready, because we're going to be exact in our aim, sir.
Right. Yes, defend black women, protect black women, love on black women. I love that. I love that.
And to our viewers, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for, like she said, for your patience. Thank you all for receiving the knowledge that you have today. And I want to say thank you before you even display the action, because I know you're going to do what you're told here on Revolution Ready. Thank you all for putting your boots to the ground and making a change.
That's right.
Creating love and unity.
That's right. And again, just shout out for you tapping the courage to just say, no, I'm not a politician, but I'm gonna get out here and I'm gonna be determined to use my voice use my passion, and speak on everything that I love and everything that I know, to be able to push this agenda ahead. Because
Yes, ma'am.
we need people out there who have our best interests and who are willing to speak up for our best interests, so that way we can have a more thriving life, not just
Yes.
surviving anymore, that we can actually be able to live off the fruits of our labor and the
Yes.
fruits of the labor that people have stolen from us. Like you said, that we built this country and we built it for free. So it's time for us to get paid back.
We ain't build it
in
off rock
full.
and roll either.
In full. I don't want no loan. I don't want you to pay it down. I want it
We
all.
don't want no PPE, PPPPPP, PP, P. We don't want none of that. We want what is given to us.
Yes, I want my
We
dip.
want what's given to us, man.
Right.
We don't want no P. We've been getting peed and shit on ever since we came across them boats.
And they said it was raining.
I'm sorry, my bad.
That's okay.
my-
You
I-
brought it
I-
out. That's what the revolution is about. Shout out to our viewers. Make sure y'all copping the merch.
Yes.
Make sure y'all sharing.
Hit that Cash App.
Hit the Cash App. Make sure y'all supporting. Y'all following Dr. Ameena Matthews.
Please support you guys. Please support Revolution Ready Radio. This is the progressive talk radio that is needed across the nation. So you guys please support them, because if you're sitting back watching the news talking about how tired you are about the way to get your ass up and do something, make sure that Revolution Ready Radio is giving you all your walking papers. That's what was my walking papers, WVON in Chicago. That's what we marched for. So you guys go ahead on and do the right thing. If it's your last $5, you're gonna get it back.
That's right.
That's right.
You're gonna get paid in double. Anything else, bro?
I think that is all we have for today. Again, thank you to our guests. We were very honored to have you.
Yes.
Honored to be here.
Thank you to our viewers. Make sure y'all tune in next Wednesday at 5.
At 5.
This is Revolution Ready. I am Sedan Smith.
I am Tiffany Henry.
And it's always lights,
Camera. Black Shin. Love y'all.